Alabama's Big Mike now has big stars. He's become a 5-star, according to On3. We're going to talk that. We're going to get into where Alabama sits in the SEC with the official edition of the Texas Longhorns, and how historic is Alabama's dynasty. All that, Alabama Media Days, and tickets are available today right here on the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Don't forget that we are always presented by Pearl River Resort over in Philadelphia, Mississippi. So as we say every single day to you guys, thank you for being here, and roll tide. Oh, there he is. Boom. That's the guy right there. Big Elmo at Brett Elmore Show on the socials. I'm at broadcaster Mick Gillespie and Brett Elmore here, as we do on a daily basis, to talk Alabama. Before I even exchange pleasantries with you, Brett, how about this? Big Mike Carroll from Pennsylvania, a 5-star, and that's going to help Alabama's recruiting numbers. But how excited have I been about this guy? Legacy to Penn State, coming to Alabama. He's a 5-star. Now let's get Ty Haywood, and let's have 2 5-stars on the line.
Give me 5. Yeah. Michael Carroll, the Big Mike, 6'6", 315. He is Big Mike at 6'6", 315. And the legacy player coming to Tuscaloosa, he's talking about his dad, former Penn State linebacker, and also his mother, former Michigan State basketball player. We talked about that. It's good lineage there. And of course, we know what he does on the football field. He owned both sides of the ball in high school, playing both ways, really. But could you imagine this guy is also a wrestler?
No, I didn't know
Could you imagine squaring up with this guy on the mat?
No. I don't know how much fun that would be.
I don't think that would be a whole lot of fun at all. But Big Mike, the 5-star, yeah, that will help in the whole ranking system, pushing us a little bit closer to the top. So that's good news today.
Yeah, I saw that, and I said, you know what, this is great. Look for Alabama still projected to get Ty Haywood, which would be, as far as the big board is concerned, the most offensive lineman you could possibly take. But they did so well in the top 100 of the recruiting game that, why even take the chance? Just get those guys in there, let them grow together. Maybe this is the start of just a dominant offensive line, one of the best that Alabama's ever had. We'll see. I feel like it's a possibility. And it's just more accolades for Big Mike.
Yeah, it is. And we've talked about this too. Some of these guys that, have committed that are 4-stars, they could end up being 5-stars by the time it's all said and done. And this is what we've been talking about right here. This is proof right here. Proof positive that's going to happen. Big Mike was a 4. Now he's a 5.
Yeah.
Ooh, where'd I go?
There you are. Look, and that could be the case with AK Deer. I think he's going to be an Alabama guy, and I think he's going to be a 5-star. There's been a lot of talk since July 1st, Brett, that with Texas entering the SEC, all of a sudden now Alabama is second fiddle to a team in their own conference. And it's because of this. Texas has had historically a winning record against Alabama, which is not the case for any school that's played Alabama in the SEC over the years. Now, 7-2, Alabama had never beaten them before Nick Saban beat them for the national championship in 2009. You remember the game that they won a couple years ago. Will Reichard with the kick to beat Texas. Last year lost to Texas. So Texas is 7-2-1 against Alabama, and they have a winning record against every team in the conference. There's a rundown right there, except Vanderbilt, which is pretty crazy, right? But those games were probably played back in like the 30s or something. But yeah, I mean, there you go. So does that mean that Texas is the top dog? I mean, they have a winning record against everyone.
No. Yeah, I mean, you take the 3 games,
chance, buddy.
You take the 3 games in the modern. I'm going to call it the modern era. Okay. Bama's 2-1 against them.
Mm-hmm.
Previously, before 2009, they played in 1981. Bama lost by 2 points then. They lost by 4 points back in 1972. They tied once. But you're right. This series dates back to 1902, okay? And so I'm looking at it, Coach Bryant didn't have a whole lot of luck against them, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But still, you're looking at a program in Texas that has won 4 national championships in their history. 33 conference championships compared to Alabama's. How many national championships do we have now, Mick?
17.
Thank you. And 34 SEC championships. The best conference in the land.
Mm-hmm.
No.
It's going to be interesting to see how Texas does week in and week out against the teams from the SEC, because it's not just playing Alabama and Georgia. It's the fact that Auburn can beat you, LSU can beat you, Ole Miss can beat you, Tennessee can beat you. You can lose to Arkansas. You can lose to the Gators. You can lose. I mean, any of these teams besides Vandy, I take very seriously week in and week out. Vanderbilt probably needs to go into the ACC. And I want to say this too. Appreciate the graphic from our friends at the Next Round, right? Where I'm on the podcast with Jake Coker on Roll Tide Pods that is presented by them. This is where the graphic came from. But I look at Texas and I say, you know what? Texas slots in. I mean, they really do slot in. Them and Oklahoma will be in the upper echelons of the conference, I think. We'll see how that translates onto the field. But, I mean, I say, Alabama and Georgia, and I put them in the same category as LSU. I put them in the same category as, Florida on a year in and year out basis, not lately, Texas A&M. I think they have the potential to run through the conference every year. They have the potential to lose every year, but I don't see them as the super elite Alabama and now Georgia.
Right. Yeah. And that's what I thought you were mentioning. Does that put them at the very top, being the top dog in the conference now? No. I mean, you are coming into the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
You got invited, you came, welcome to where the big boys play. Mm-hmm. And you're going to get that week in and week out. And they've had a lot of success, obviously, with this graphic against teams in the SEC. But let me tell you, they had to play them sparingly, probably bowl games, stuff like that. I don't know. They're going to be someone to contend with. I like Coach Sark. I think he's got a good program out there, and they're going to be, in the near the top, but not. They're not going to come in and take over. Okay.
That's what I was thinking. Now, with us saying that, I wanted to prove your point for you because I knew what you were going to say. I feel like I know you pretty well now. And I saw this from our friends at On3, and I thought, hey, that is a great graphic to add to this show to talk about, right? And that's that Alabama has been number one in the AP 140 weeks since 1961. And when I look at Texas, they're at the bottom of the top 10, right, at 45. So that's like Bama's been up there like 3 times more than they have at number one.
Yeah, and I was looking at a stat earlier that was talking about Saban's record. We were number one in the country at least once, just about every year except for last year, I think, and maybe his first year. But there was so many years in a row that we were number one at some point in the season.
Yeah.
Either started or finished that way, or got that way in the middle somewhere. But I mean, Alabama they are still the dynasty, that everyone tries to replicate. I mean, you hear coaches talk about it. Alabama has been the standard.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to a Georgia fan over the weekend, and I think he played at Georgia. I didn't get his name, but I was told he played at Georgia after I got done talking with him. He looked like he probably played there. But anyway, huh?
Was he at Pearl River Resort?
No, he was at a fundraiser we were doing.
Okay. All right.
And anyway, he was talking about, we were talking football, and I had, some Alabama gear on, and he told me he was a Bulldog, and he said, look, he said, I don't care what they say. He said, I know football. He said, Alabama's going to be Alabama, and they're going to be there. And I said, you're right. And he also said, go Dogs. So
They said that. Well, Texas, you remember the last time Texas was number one? Alabama needed them to lose, and eventually they lost. I want to say it was when Michael Crabtree made that catch at Texas Tech. They lost to
was that crazy year that like Baylor had to win, or Baylor lost?
I really believe it was, man. I just remember the catch that Crabtree made.
Yeah.
Mike Leach was their coach, and they beat them. And then Alabama, that was when Alabama 2008, like all of a sudden, like they were number one, right? And then they lost to Florida in the SEC championship game. If I remember correctly, that was 2008. And it's been a long time since Texas has been there. Florida State, you got to figure most of those were when Bobby Bowden was there. They haven't been a number one team. Jimbo had them there for a little bit. USC hasn't been, a real bona fide number one since they had Pete Carroll. Notre Dame, I mean, so much of that was from back in the day. I mean, Lou Holtz had him at number one a few times, but nothing lately. Now, Bob Stoops had Oklahoma at number one. I'm sure they were number one at some point. With 2011, that would have probably been the guy that's at USC right now, right? The head coach, Lincoln Riley, or it was 2001 Bob Stoops. Yeah. Ohio State's been pretty consistent. I mean, like it seems like they're kind of like, you turn around and they're number one. They've had a bunch of different coaches get them there. Nebraska, that's going back. I mean, it's been a long time since they were even good. Same thing with Miami. So Bama's been the most consistent, and that's why they have 140 times at number one. And then second is Ohio State, and they're 35 less.
Right.
So that just shows the consistency that the program has had, because, you're talking about Bear Bryant being at number one, Gene Stallings being at number one, and then Nick Saban, and I'm sure that there maybe Perkins and some of those other guys had him there at number one every once in a while, but Saban was it was like every week Alabama was number one. They're the only team I can remember that really, and then Georgia, I mean, I got to give Georgia the same prop here, is that they handle being number one, because a lot of times teams get to number one and then they lose because they've got the bullseye on their back.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Took the words right out of my mouth. Yeah. When you have that bullseye on your back, it's hard to, some teams take it well, some teams don't.
Yep. All right, Brett, we got the date now. Jalen DeBoer's first media day is going to be in Dallas, July the 17th. Okay, so one of my biggest criticisms of Nick Saban, and I have not been afraid to say this, and it's not a knock against Saban as a person, but I didn't feel like he did a good enough job treating the local media the way that they deserve to be treated. I thought that when you go to these SEC media days that you need to take the time to go talk to the radio stations. You need to be on the station in Tuscaloosa, the one in Birmingham, the one in Mobile, the one in Huntsville. You just got to do it. Whether you like it or not, that's part of the job. I got a feeling that Jalen DeBoer and the criticism was, if you got time to go on Pat McAfee and you got time to go on Dan Patrick and you got time to go on the SEC network because all of them are paying you, you know what? That's great, but there's still a part of this job that's grassroots. And I felt like the last few years that Saban was there, that he could have given two craps about the local media. And I thought that was wrong, and maybe it was because he's old, and he didn't have to. And he probably saw that this was something that he was going to do. I mean, he works at ESPN now. And I wonder if he'll take more time to do that stuff, even just as like an old coach. But Jalen DeBoer has been amazing, Brett, at understanding that you've got to connect in Decatur. You got to connect in Montgomery. You got to connect in Birmingham. You got to connect in Tuscaloosa. You got to connect in Jasper and Mobile and those places that people cover you every day. This is the one place where you're supposed to get a little bit of time with the coach. And since Saban wouldn't let anyone else talk besides him, it wasn't like you could say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to do it, but here's my defensive coordinator or here's my offensive coordinator. You were lucky to maybe get one of the players for a couple minutes. I think all that's changed. And that to me is one of the things I'm most excited about with Jalen DeBoer and Alabama Media Day.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he'll be making the rounds. I'm sure he will on that Wednesday. Big week. I mean, in Dallas, I don't know who scheduled SEC Media Days and MLB All-Star Week at the same time.
Yeah, that was stupid.
That was same place. So I mean, what are you thinking? But anyway, Monday they'll have LSU, South Carolina, Ole Miss, and Vanderbilt. So I'm kind of like snoozing on that. I'll hit the snooze button. Wednesday, Bama, Mississippi State, Florida, and Texas. Now, Bama will be the early morning, so keep that in mind. Thursday, the morning session will have Arkansas and A&M. Then Auburn and Kentucky will be the afternoon session to close things out.
Well, so I've met and interviewed Jalen Milroe and Malachi Moore. They're great kids, great talkers. Our friends at the next round have Tyler Booker on. Those are the three guys that Coach DeBoer is bringing with him. They're going to represent Alabama as well as they can be represented. And that's something I care about too. I want guys that are smart and funny and have a good big personality to go there, because I think that when other players or especially recruits see these guys talking and they're paying attention. So I think this is important. It's not just about the media. It's about the perception of the program.
Sure. Yeah, that's right. And they'll represent well.
Another thing coming up here, Brett, that I know you mentioned before, but today's the day, guys. So if you're watching this before 9, you still have a chance to get your tickets. Today, tickets go on sale, and you better take advantage of it, because these little puppies are going to go like hotcakes.
Yes, they are. Timeout. Yeah, I mean, with Coach, DeBoer in his first season, these things are going to be going like hotcakes. So get them while you can, baby. Get them while you can. And 9 a.m. Central Time this morning, if you're up, the early birds. We got a lot of early birds who join us in the morning, Mick, before they go to work. Are you drinking a little bit of that coffee, some of that Java, getting ready for work? Get you some of those Bama tickets while you're at it.
Yeah, I mean, you can get them for face value, and you don't have to pay the tax that you have to pay when you buy season tickets, which
that's right.
Is something I never agreed with, because when I used to have season tickets, you had to pay to buy the tickets.
Yeah.
If you don't make big money like Brett, the owner of all these radio stations, that's a lot of loot.
Yeah, I tell you, I know.
High roller.
Those things.
All right, guys. I do want to remind you guys before we switch over a couple things. First off, New Life Art. I have not changed. Some of you guys asked me to hold on to this for a little while longer. I'm going to. It's about to change. Promo code Bama Tailgate gets you 25% off all the classics, excluding new releases on your orders at newlifeart.com. I'm going to hold this until Wednesday. So you got until Wednesday. So you got 2 more days to do this. Take advantage of it. Bama Tailgate, 25% off all orders at newlifeart.com. And again, we had a blast at Pearl River Resort. It's just so much fun there. We've been laughing about our time there. Dancing Rabbit Golf Course was amazing. The water park, Geyser Falls, was awesome. The hospitality was great. Mama and Nems, we hung out at the bar. Brett made me laugh so hard that my ribs hurt. That story you were telling me. And then the concerts were great. I mean, Boys to Men. And then I saw you with all your pictures with Gretchen Wilson and Rich from Big and Rich, you hanging out backstage.
I was going to get a picture with Big, but his top hat and my head wouldn't fit in the frame.
Well, guys, they got more great acts coming up. Rodney Carrington celebrating 30 years at Pearl River. You're going to have a great time over there. Table games and slots, the Timeout Sports Lounge, which is the Vegas-style casino that you can play. Spend $50 there, and you can play Dancing Rabbit for $40.
And I got to apologize to the Pearl River security. I wouldn't let go of Gretchen Wilson for some reason, and they said, sir, you got your picture. I was like, no, hold on, one more minute. One more. And then they escorted her. She was like, okay, Big Elmo, it's okay. You got your pick.
Is she a Bama fan? I think she's from Kentucky or something, right?
I think she may be from Kentucky. She got her start by singing karaoke.
Really?
Yeah, someone discovered her. She was singing karaoke, and I was like, this chick's got talent.
Maybe they'll discover us doing YouTube shows.
Or yeah, right. That, or
discover us, baby.
If they would have just heard you sing along to Boys to Men, there's your chance.
All right, guys. After this quick timeout, Brett takes over the show. So don't go anywhere for our second segment. And it's going to be worth checking out. Roll.
To Pearl River Resort. They call him Big Sexy. Coming at you from the Walker County. Jasper is his hometown. He's known for giving free rundowns. Oh, Big Sexy. Throwing out those Alabama thoughts. Sneaking out your mom's window without getting caught. It gives you the XP, but Big Elmo is here to please. Big Sexy Elmo on the Bama Tailgate Show.
West Jasper 7, ladies and gentlemen.
Ooh, it's July the 9th, Mixter. It's July the 9th, and let's see what's happening on this day. Celebrity birthdays. A guy that started out as a composer and a pianist. Then he went on to be on the radio.
A pianist or a pianist?
What?
I was doing a Cubs game one time, and I don't know why it came out as pianist.
Wow.
Yeah, I just kept I just laughed and kept going. Oops.
Pianist. Yeah. I'll tell you a gaffe I made. My dad used to have me on the air when I was like 9 or 10 years old. And I do the small college report, give the small college schedule during halftime of the high school games. And of course, all of it was scripted. And there was a quarterback for one of these teams named Dusty Bonner. And I said Dusty Boner. and my dad said, Bonner, yes, continue. And he just played it, I was like, okay. I was like, what did I do wrong? Nothing, son. Go on. Just go. It's okay. But anyway, composer, pianist. Then he dove into like radio and TV, and he became the John Tesh Show. 72, John Tesh.
John, man, I love John Tesh. I drive a lot, and then he'll come on and he'll tell the story. He's like got a radio show, and it's like, now time for the John Tesh radio show. Did you know that you show up for work 3 days in a row and you wear the same clothes? No one will notice, but it'll give you a lot of inspiration. Plus, you won't have to change your outfit. You know what I mean? Like he's got like a whole thing, and it's like, and that's one to grow on. Now, here's a song from the Beatles. I don't know. It's like,
now here's Seals and Crofts now on the John Tesh radio show.
I had it going, and then I dropped it at the
end. One of the best actors of all time, Tom Hanks, is 68 today.
And you know this story. I don't know that I would have ended up at the University of Alabama if it wasn't for Tom Hanks. My high school girlfriend worked at the local movie theater.
Yeah.
And it was when Forrest Gump was in the movie. So that tells you how old I am.
Wow.
And I went and she gave me free movie passes. And I went to that. I saw that movie like probably 9 or 10 times at the movies. And I thought, man, this Alabama must be an amazing place. And then obviously I live in Fairhope where Winston Groom was until he passed away, who wrote that. And the movie was great. In Alabama, the state's even better. So happy birthday to Forrest Gump.
Poor Mick. He came to Alabama and he was looking for Forrest Gump, and then he realized he was just a fictional character.
Well, I'm not too far from Bio the Battery.
You're not. You are not. You are not far at all, my friend.
Things go bad. I'm gonna start a shrimping business.
But yeah, I'll be right there with you. I'll be the Lieutenant Dan. Lieutenant Dan, you could be Forrest, or vice versa. I don't care. You want some ice cream, Lieutenant Mick? But
if I was going somewhere, I was running.
And yeah, great.
He met Elvis. Did you know that?
That's such a great movie. Now you make me.
I might have to
watch that again.
I might watch it tonight. It's still one of my favorites.
What a great movie!
How about when he runs through Tennessee?
Yeah, and, he's got everybody running behind him, and he stops, and they're like, "I guess I'll go home now."
They had like Bear Bryant in the movie.
Yeah.
I heard Reggie Jackson talking about Bear Bryant recently in an AL.com article, and I thought that's just kind of hit the Forrest Gump Bear Bryant character.
For Forrest Gump, yeah. Tom Hanks is 73 today. So you got free movie passes. I thought that was probably what got you hooked on to be in radio also. When I first started radio, I was getting paid like $5.15 an hour plus free movie passes. I thought I was in hog heaven.
Let's go.
Courtney Love is 60 today. Holy smokes.
Yeah, there hasn't been a weirder person in show business and music than her. I mean, she was running around wearing the shirt that Kurt Cobain committed suicide in. I still don't understand that. I mean, I don't know. And then I heard like Dave Grohl, like she didn't like Dave Grohl for a while for some reason, and all he was part of the success of Kurt Cobain's band and had to go on without Kurt, because Kurt committed suicide, and I guess they're friends now. I don't know, but I can't believe she's 70.
Wow. 60. Yeah.
Oh, 60. Okay.
Yeah. Not 70 yet.
Okay.
Kevin Arnold is 48 today, folks. Fred Savage.
Yeah, not too old. Born in 76. Fred was in the show Wonder Years.
Yeah.
One time I was at this is back when I was in college. I was at the beach and I was at Live Bait and they had karaoke, and his brother, the blonde-headed kid that was on the show with him, you know what I'm talking about? He was there, and he was like 5 foot tall, but he just had like this aura, and he jumped on a table and sung karaoke, and everybody was like, whoa, that's the guy.
That is cool.
And also Christmas Story.
Yeah. And
2 degrees of separation, baby.
And that may have been the kid that I ran into at the Florida. No, I'm sorry. They went to the Florida, but I was staying down in Orange Beach at what is that resort? The big hotel,
Turquoise.
The what?
Turquoise. I don't know. There's one that's right by the bypass.
There's one that has a big convention center because we were there for a broadcast convention.
Okay.
And anyway, so all the broadcasters in the state were there, for our convention. And I was sitting by the pool, at
just
the bar.
Minding your own business.
At the bar. And I look over and I'm like, oh, man, there's Vince Vaughn.
Oh, yeah.
But they also told me that the blonde-headed guy that was with him was in A Christmas Story. And it may be the same guy. I don't know.
Might be. Well, this guy was this was a little guy.
I've still got a picture of I snuck a picture of those three sitting together. I wasn't going to bother them. But I snapped it real quick and put it on my Facebook, and I was like, look who's sitting right across here at the bar. So that was exciting for us broadcasters that were there.
Yeah, there's the guy right here, Jason Hervey.
Jason Hervey, yeah. Jason Hervey, yeah.
I'm gonna put him up here.
He was also he was involved with the WWF for a while.
Was he?
Yeah.
This is.
It was not Hervey that I'm thinking of though. This is a different one that was with.
That's the guy.
Yeah, no, it wasn't him. Different guy.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, he was the mean brother.
Cool guy. Yeah. Cool. I liked him, man. He was a good dude.
Yeah.
That one night.
Yeah. Okay. Today's holidays. Today is Jack of all trades day.
Yeah. Jack of all trades, master of none, right? Had a stepfather like this. Keith. They called him Mullet Head Keith because he had a mullet haircut.
Oh.
And, you get older and you get older and you look back. Wasn't a huge fan of old Keith. Really wasn't a great stepfather. And on top of that, like, when you grow up and it's your responsibility to kind of handle things. That his maneuver was he would leave for work and then we'd go to school and then he would sneak back home because he didn't have a job. And he was a jack of all trades, but a master of none.
A master of none for sure. Ladies and gentlemen, today is National No Bra Day.
You go to the floor Bama and you go into that dome stage and they got everybody's bras are hanging in there. And they have those and they take them every once a year. I think they take them down and they get them dry cleaned and then they donate them to women's shelters.
Really? I didn't know. I never knew that.
But I've seen all kind of bras in there. And I didn't realize how expensive bras were. But some of those bras were quite pricey. But, big girls performing, and sometimes things happen, and your bra ends up on a rope above the stage.
You never know. They
let it hang out the rest of the night.
They'll be.
This is a long show, so I know many people aren't even here with us anymore.
No, they're here. They heard that.
Mullet Head Keith.
Mullet Head Keith. I know that. Nah, he worked on my Trans Am back today.
They said that Keith worked construction with my cousins, and they said he was so slow they had to fire him. Like, like he's one of these guys who's probably high at work, just sitting over there, we're trying to get done.
Yeah. A couple of things that happened on this day in history. There's not a whole lot that happened this day, oddly enough. 1956, a music dance show, Bandstand, hosted by Dick Clark, debuted on a Philadelphia TV station, and then 1 year later, it went on nationwide on ABC as American Bandstand, and it was on for 30 years.
Yeah, this is what I want to happen with the Bama Tailgate show, right? We were on, and then the show got ripped away from me, and then I started it myself again, which we never really took a year off. We just moved spots with it, and then it was on one station, and now it's on a lot of stations. We got some new cast members that we haven't officially announced yet, but that'll be there. And I'll tell you that one was a strong-armed quarterback that won a national championship, and one guy is nicknamed after a character from Sesame Street. But that's all I'm going to say.
What does Grover have to do with all this? 1997, a heavyweight boxer, Mike Tyson, was banned from the ring, fined $3 million for biting off Holyfield's ear in a bout.
Yeah, there was a biting incident, and there was a biting incident in a MMA fight recently too, where a guy had a big chunk taken out of him. If Brett ever bit you, you'd know it because there'd be a little space right between the two bite marks.
That's right. That's why I could never get away with it if it wasn't for this space in my teeth. That pesky space.
Look at that guy. Hey, we love you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us again on the show. A little bit long today, but we had a lot to talk about. We'll do it again tomorrow. If something breaks, we'll jump on and you can count on us here as well. But have a great day, and everybody, roll Tide, roll.